Yeah, 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 yeah. Welcome to me casa, make yourself at home, do your do. Welcome to my pad, this your lab, go create your move.
What's good, everybody? It's 99 Miles Per Hour Podcast with your host, me, Percy Garner. And, I think we should say also Josh All, because he's going to be, obviously he's not making this, he's not just making the episode possible. We're going to be hearing him speak for the first time, because usually I always ask him questions and he's not actually mic'd up or anything. And I don't even know if you guys can hear him, but he's going to be in this one. So, but we're going to talk about some interesting topics. Well, they're interesting to me. Hopefully you guys like them as well. And we're also, just having a little different format of an episode here. No guest other than, I guess, if you want to call Josh a guest. And we're just going to touch on some things, give you some updates about the podcast and the YouTube channel as a whole, where it's going, where I want it to go, and also just some other announcements I have. So, but before I go anywhere, we got to talk about Peterman Plumbing and Heating and the people over there and what they do for this podcast. I'm very, very thankful they allow me and Josh to I guess come here every day and not every day, but every week and do this podcast. And I'm enjoying it. I've been doing it over a year now, and we appreciate Peterman Plumbing for making it possible. Without them, we would not be able to do this. And, I'm looking forward to the relationship that we have. And, hopefully I never have to use their services, but we do appreciate them sponsoring the podcast, making it possible. And, if you need any assistance I know they've been a business for 45 years, but they've added definitely other things other than the plumbing aspect with the heating and cooling and some things that we might be wanting to be doing at our home here soon. And that's renovation. So we just moved into a new house, but we are already trying to renovate. That's the story of having a wife. But no. I'll end this now. Thank you, Peterman Plumbing, for what you guys do for us. And we're always going to be fans of you, especially. I don't want to name drop. I don't know if they're comfortable with it, but they're great people anyway. But I do want to touch on some current events like I do, like a guest is here, where I usually ask them questions. But just some things that have happened. And I had this outline and all these ideas set up before I went on vacation. Josh got sick on me and stuff. And ruined everything. So, but I guess we can talk about vacation. It was great. You went before me, right?
Yeah, I did. I went the week before you. So I was sick, vacation, and then you vacation.
Good. And where'd you
go? Lido Beach down off of Sarasota in Florida.
Oh, Sarasota. I like the sand there.
It's white. The shirt rocking today,
It looks nice. Did you get that from Teespring? No. I don't know if they'll know where that joke is coming from. No. We'll see what we do with the episode to see if they'll understand why I just made that joke. But yeah, I lived down there for a while, and the sand. I don't know how close is it to Sarasota? It's right there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I just know the sand there was special. I liked it. It was Sarasota. It was white sand, and it was very powdery. Clear water.
Yeah,
it's
clear
a
water.
nasty sand where it's stuck on your toes.
Right, and then it doesn't get hot. You know what I mean? The sand was, you could walk and not have to worry about burning your feet or anything.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Hilton Head wasn't too bad, I don't think. I kept asking Peyton every time, like, hey, is the sand hot? She said no. So, but that's awesome. Lido Beach. Mm-hmm. I think I've had to be there. And the Oriole Spring Training is in Sarasota. So.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, nice. I can't remember the road, but I rode my bike there a couple of times. I got clowned for my bicycle outfit. I go hard when I get into something.
Uh-huh.
You obviously
I've seen you around town.
Yeah. Do I look like me? Do I look like,
No, the first time you rode up, remember? Yeah. I was out in my driveway. I'm like, who is this guy on his bike?
Just coming up to you.
I don't know why, but you looked a lot bigger for some reason on your. Yeah, you look like maybe 6'8", 320. Like you look like.
I look like 320.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you had to say something higher than what I am.
320.
Yeah. Okay. LeBron on the. Well, LeBron bought a cycling company for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if many people knew that he was big into cycling when he lost all his weight from the Miami Heat, but now I'm into cycling now. So if you guys ever want to ride around Tuscarawas County area, maybe even further. My goal is to do a 100-mile ride before the fall of next year. So we'll see if that happens. But also, I guess we almost died with Hurricane Elsa. Not really. That's an exaggeration. But did you get? It was before you. It was after you left your.
Yeah, we got out of there about 2 days before.
Smart. The women, my wife Krista and Nicole, they were all like, "It's not real. It's not. There's no hurricane. There's no tropical storm." Because it rained and then it didn't rain, and I'm like, "Look, if there's no tropical storm, there's still allowed to be rain. The weatherman was wrong. The rain didn't come. That doesn't mean the storm's not coming." And little did we know, it showed up. And luckily, my daughter slept through it all, so that was good.
Nice.
Yeah. So we survived that, but it was a good time. I wasn't able to take a lot of vacations growing up, so it's nice to provide. My kids don't know how good they have it. So. But I also do want to mention, I think I've mentioned it on Instagram story, but I want to bring it up. Just some things that happened a couple weeks ago. The Cy Young Festival, great. I want to reiterate how great the people were there. And I also want to reiterate how dumb I am. So I gave a speech. There, and I was actually using this camera that I'm looking into right now. So obsessed with making sure the video was correct before I gave this speech to the beautiful people of Newcomerstown. And I forgot to turn my mic on, so it's just me going like this. But so I was very unfortunate, but I do want to share content of me giving, my speeches that I do, because I do speak at schools and stuff like that, and for teams, and this was a different thing, being the Grand Marshal. Someone saw me at Drug Mart in New Philly and said, "Hey, I heard you're the Grand Marshal." I said, "No, I'm the executive director." They go, no, of the Cy Young Festival. I go, "Oh yeah." So I didn't know if I had that popular title, but I mean, have you ever heard of the festival?
I honestly had not until you started talking about it.
Yeah, apparently they've done it the last 20 years. And then before that, it was a lull. There was none. And it used to go on all the time. But just going down there, seeing the history, going out to his grave at Pioli, it was like, wow, this is pretty amazing. I just wish I knew. One of the things I regret is not knowing that Cy Young is from Tuscarawas County. Probably would have gave me a lot more confidence about my dreams of being a professional pitcher, that the Cy Young lived 20 minutes from where I live. So.
Right, because he was from Newcomerstown, right?
Yeah, so it was pretty cool.
I guess when I was in Leadership Tusk 3 years ago or whatever, I remember going to the museum down there.
Oh, that museum's amazing.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that was there.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. Do you remember what it's called exactly?
I don't, but I know
I'll look it up, but it was
the one that honors Cy Young and Woody Hayes, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody thinks Woody Hayes is from New Philly.
Yeah.
But he actually went to school in Newcomerstown. So
I'm going to look that up, see, because we'll give a shout out to that. That museum is, if you haven't seen it, it's worth a little trip down to Newcomerstown.
It is. And they've got the statue out front, and we got a great tour from the guy. I take pride in knowing people's names. I know this dude's name is John, but his last name was hard for me to pronounce. But he gave a great tour. He was just a walking encyclopedia of Woody Hayes and Cy Young, which was great. And there's just a lot of history, and I think it's pretty cool. And I was glad at first. I was like, "Oh, this is cool." I'm going to the Cy Young Festival. Then I realized they usually have Cy Young winners go to that festival, so they kind of had to downgrade. But I was close, so people weren't flying in. I think they were trying to get Raleigh Fingers is his name. You probably don't know who that is, but he was a great pitcher in his time. And but he got COVID and a whole bunch of stuff's happened, so he couldn't come. They're like, "Percy, I guess we'll have you over." So I showed up, had some food, and spoke to some people, signed autographs, learned a lot about Newcomerstown and Cy Young, and was in the parade with my family. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that museum, there's two, I guess, the Temperance Tavern Museum and then the Old Main Street Museum.
Old Main Street Museum is the one I went to.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like recreated inside like an old downtown, like different shops, and you can look in the windows. And when I walked in there, I was like, this is in Tuscarawas County? I had no idea.
Fun fact, one of those little shops that just looks like its background, you can actually cook a hot dog in there.
Really?
Using just electricity. It's magical. I mean, electricity isn't magic, but it's just weird how it happens. I'm like, what just happened? But it was a lot of hidden gems down in that area.
Yeah.
A lot of people were commenting on my Instagram feed saying, hey, why aren't you running in the 5K? I'm like, I got a suit on, basically. That was my excuse.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I would have rode my bike for 5K.
Yeah, I'm not running. I'm not running.
But then I felt bad because there was an 80-year-old who ran and finished in the top 10. So there's that. But let's switch subjects.
Don't feel bad. Feel good. Feel good for him.
Yeah, feel good for him. But my confidence and ego is dropping. So let's go to... actually, I'm in the process of making a website, so it'll be easier for people to book me for speaking engagements instead of just sending me a Facebook message. And but I'll announce when that's ready and set up. But right now I'm having some issues with my domain, so we won't talk about nerdy stuff yet. But yeah, we'll get on that. But I do want to touch on, the future of this podcast and what I want to do. Ooh, I saw your little logo pop up. You're like moving around on the screen in Notion.
I'm in Notion. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm following along.
Yeah. If you guys haven't heard about Notion, it's the greatest application ever made. So you should probably look it up on YouTube or something. But anyways, so despite
Nerdy.
Yes, nerd. I mean, if you guys don't know already, I'm one of the biggest nerds there is. I think on my LinkedIn post, I was talking about Notion productivity apps and how much I love them. So I like to try them out. Josh hears about all the calendars I try out every year. So, but yeah, the future of this podcast and YouTube channel. I love interviewing people. I love talking to people. It's great. I've said it so many times on the show. I use this show as an excuse to learn more about people that I like and all my friends. But I also like doing different content. So in the future, I plan on maybe doing shorter, topics where I just talk about a topic real short. And instead of going through a whole episode of an hour or 45 minutes, we'll still have those because I still have plenty of people to interview from, Tuscarawas County and the rest of the United States, or maybe people in different countries. We're trying to make that happen. There's someone in South Korea that I want to interview. He's an old teammate of mine. He's playing professional baseball over there. But if you don't know, they're 13 hours ahead, so it's hard to it's hard to do. You think you'd be able to pull that off?
Yeah, as long as it was during our day, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how it would do
I don't know, man. Via internet, you can probably pull about anything off. So
True.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But and expect more content. I'm gonna try. I always say this. I have 2 New Year's resolutions every year. One is to get in contact with my friends more often, and family, which I fail at, and also is just being on social media more. I do regret not being on social media. I literally thought social media was for women in 2013 and 14 and 15 and 16. I was like, oh, there's no sense. I don't really need to be on here. It's not really my thing. And then all of a sudden it's the only thing that really matters. No, I'm joking. But as a business and as someone who wants to be, help people out, inspire them through the content that I make, you kind of got to make content and put it everywhere. So, expect more from 99 miles per hour, not more podcasts. We're probably still going to do that every Tuesday, but just different types of content. And then you guys can give me feedback to see if you like it. So, and then of course I haven't really officially released, or announced, cause I deked all you guys and said there was an announcement and then there wasn't. That was just a blooper. I messed up. That happens sometimes. I know everybody thinks I'm perfect, but but I messed up, and that was just a little clip, and I thought I'd share it. But I have a Patreon page, and I haven't put any content up there yet, but I just want to give you that little nugget that it's coming. I haven't decided exactly what type of content I want to put there. Maybe it's the shorter content I do where I talk about specific topics that you guys want me to. So if you guys don't know what Patreon is, it's just a way to, help support the creator and helps me make more content for you directly, exactly what you want, instead of me just throwing stuff against the wall and hope you like it. But like moving forward, I'm never going to stop making content, I don't think. And Josh has made this possible for me, so thank you, Josh. But this is kind of what I want to kind of do moving forward, and I kind of like this setting. Hopefully you guys will like this episode and give us feedback on that. I have another announcement to make. Now, I've been getting a lot of calls about pitching lessons and how I'm going to do those, if I'm still going to do it. My son's 8, he's this. My son's 12, he needs this. I enjoy it, but I'm in school right now. I do this podcast. I have a family, I have a job. There's a lot of stuff going on. So I want to be able to, be there for my family, but also give, great advice to young pitchers, young baseball players. So I'm trying to figure out a way, and I think I have one. It's not set in stone yet, but my initial idea is to kind of do it virtually. That way I can do more. Because when I was doing it in a facility, I could only have 8 people or 8 kids that I could help. And I just kind of didn't do it for me. So now my plan is to have people send video of their son throwing or whatever, and I will kind of analyze that and give them feedback. Could be live, could be, later in the week. But my ultimate goal is to have videos that you guys can reference and always see on exercises, different mechanics to do. So that is the goal. Like that could be one of the goals I was talking about at the beginning of the episode. But that's the goal. And I'll keep you updated on what I'm doing. I'll be sending out information on all my social media. So you guys will not be out of the loop. But I plan on doing that August, September. So it's coming up quick. But there is going to be a limit on how many people I accept. So, but we'll get into that. It's something I want to do, and I think it's important. So we'll get it done. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about this, Josh, but I kind of want to lay the ground, the foundation first. So I want to talk about this even before I went on vacation, but we're gonna touch on it. I'm a big fan of the NBA. I love basketball. Just wasn't as good at basketball as I was at football and baseball. So I did get some opinions from some experts. But before I, talk about that, I just want to, and I've talked about my mental health in sports and what I went through. But I think it's important, so I like talking about it. So we're going to talk about it some more. And I want to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers point guard, Ben Simmons. So this 6'10", 260-pound specimen, or whatever he is an athlete that not many people have seen. LeBron is close, but Ben Simmons he's a little bit taller than LeBron, and he has trouble shooting. Now, this isn't new to the Philadelphia 76ers. They had Markelle Fultz years ago, who was I think he was a first overall pick, and he literally, he just could not shoot the ball. Like he just would not allow himself to shoot the ball. And Ben Simmons is kind of in that same mode right now, but Markelle Fultz actually couldn't play. They just stopped him from playing. Ben Simmons is still playing. He's just not willing to shoot the ball, which is kind of weird. If you think about the NBA, you kind of got to shoot. So a lot of people are giving him grief. If you watched the ESPYs, you saw. Please tell me you saw that. Matter of fact,
no, I didn't.
So the new Captain America, the Black Captain America.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or Falcon.
Yeah.
Or is it Anthony Mackie? I think that's his name. He hosted the ESPYs. And he had 2 small children come up on stage. And they gave the humanitarian award to Ben Simmons. And it's so bad. But they showed a video, it was like a montage of him missing shots, and he got the humanitarian award because of all the houses that he built for kids with all the bricks that he shot. Now, as a fan and as someone watching that, it's funny, but I have firsthand experienced what he has experienced, or is experiencing right now. And it, for me, like, it was funny, but I was like, man, poor Ben Simmons. Now, in my circumstance, I wasn't getting paid the millions that he was, and it's a little bit different. So you can feel bad for him, because having a mental block or thoughts that paralyze you from performing or being free to do things, it's rough. Now, I kind of want your perspective, because, I mean, I know you played sports, but I mean, I don't think you ever had like that issue, but looking at from the outside in, what is your thought on someone who literally their mind will not let them do something?
Mind is a powerful thing, either good or bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. One way or the other. There were times I just remember growing up playing baseball where, and it's called a slump.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's a real thing.
Yeah.
You go up there and it's like, I haven't even hit a foul ball in 3 games, or, you know what I mean? Like, I just can't put the bat on the ball.
And that's the way you're thinking.
Yeah. And exactly. Because once it starts happening, then it's, well, what's wrong? Then you overthink it.
Yeah.
I do it in golf all the time.
That is the prime.
It is, because, you go up there and I swear it's usually like the first or second hole. I'm just not really thinking much. I'm just swinging.
Yeah.
And I'll hit a nice shot. I'm like, man, that was cool. And then I'm like, well, how'd I do it?
Yeah.
Where were my feet? How much did I bend my knees? Did I bend my elbow? Like, did I keep every? And then the next shot's horrible. Horrible. Because I'm thinking too much.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm terrible at just getting off. This is the same topic, but
okay.
Did you see Charles Barkley's new swing?
No.
So he was good once upon a time.
Yeah.
And then he got basically exactly what we're saying, messed up in the head. And he worked with, I think a golf specialist who gives lessons. And now he's not like 100% like 1990 Charles Barkley golfing, but he can compete and he hits shots the way he's supposed to hit now. And he's not like, I know you've seen the YouTube videos of him swinging. Have you seen? Oh my gosh.
No, I've seen some clips though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. But now I watched the video and it just felt good, because I'm like, there was times where you feel like all right, I'm out of this. I'm out of this slump, as you would say, or I'm out of this mind frame. I'm free again. I'm out here competing, because that's what I would see these guys who, I mean, this sounds bad, but they weren't as physically talented as me, but they were just out there performing and not worrying about all the things that I was worried about, and it just sucked. It sucked.
This stuff happens to. And I don't know, I mean, if you don't watch sports consistently, you may not notice these things, but I mean, how many times do you hear about a golfer with a new swing or a tweaked swing? Well, that's because he was in his head. If he was doing everything fine with the swing he had, he wouldn't have changed it.
True.
I have never seen an NBA player in my life have more different foul shot routines than LeBron James. Arguably the greatest basketball player.
I'm glad you brought this up.
At least of our, generation and maybe ever. But the dude, every game, I'm like, I remember, especially when he was with the Cavs, because I'd watch almost every game. It's like, oh, that's different. Next night, that's a little different. It's because he wasn't very good at free throw. He was always trying to change it up.
Yeah. And it's weird to be able to shoot threes and not step in 10 feet and shoot a free throw. But I get it. I mean, the person that holds the record, I think, for free throws is some old man. So, like, you don't need to be. He's just being able to repeat, the same movement. So, but I also talked to Micah about this, because obviously he's a basketball coach at the collegiate level. And his explanation was very simple. And I don't know if he's experienced this, but he basically said it comes down to 2 things. Confidence, because for me in high school, I always felt confident once I completed a pass or, got my first out or made my first basket. Then I was like, all right, I'm good. But that's not where confidence comes from. And I've heard this from, rest in peace, Roy Halladay with the Phillies, where confidence comes from preparation. If you prepare to the max, which makes sense because Coach Schiff prepared us in football, and I would be confident going into the game because I knew the defenses they would run. I knew our plays like the back of my hand because we were running them since we were in middle school. And that just contributes so well. But it started to make sense when you see boxers or tennis players, individual sports, they know what the work they've put in. So they come in confident, except people who fought Mike Tyson. No one was confident against him. But yeah, Micah said, I heard it again from him, and it makes sense. Confidence comes from preparation. And what he said, he added, what you think about all day. Mm-hmm. So I know as a pitcher, when I was starting, you don't have to get to the field at the same time as everybody else does. So you have the whole day to think about it. And I wouldn't get to the field till 4:00 when the game was at 7, which could be a good thing and a bad thing. You obviously want to rest, but if you're just sitting in your bed thinking all these terrible thoughts about, man, I gotta have these numbers this game so I can move up. I gotta provide for my family. I gotta make a name for myself. I got to help put Tuscarawas County on the map. I got to show that, people can come out of Dover. I got to show for these kids growing up, like Percy came from Dover and he made it to the professional level. I can do it too. So I'm putting all this weight on myself, and it sucked, man. I was going to Subway. Like,
you tell this story all the time.
Yes.
Yeah?
Just with the numbers on my forehead. And the person at Subway, I just spit everywhere. The person at Subway knows my stat line from the previous game. That's not true. No one cares.
Yeah. Yeah. I forget what that's called. That I remember that term.
I have a term. Is it imposter syndrome? No. It's something in psychology where since you live life through your lens and your body, everything's happening to you. You know what I mean? So you think it was one of those things where it's like, okay, I got a zit on my nose. So I walk in, I'm walking down the hallway, of high school or whatever. And it's like, everybody's looking at my zit. But in reality, they all have their own zits. Yeah. They're not worried about mine. They're worried about their stuff. You know what I mean? So sure. That has a lot to do with it too, where we just think that, oh man, I screwed up. Everybody's looking at me, or I have this problem or this issue. Yeah. Everybody's thinking about me. No, they've got their own problems. They're not worried about you like you are. Yeah. And speaking of zits on your nose, every homecoming I had a big zit on my nose. So I thought you were bringing that up.
I mean, come on now. I could have been talking about myself. I mean, what guy didn't?
Yeah, but mine were big. I either had a sty or a zit. One of the two.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was bad. But I think that stuff is very important to know because one of our last guests, Mitch, with Velocity Baseball Training, he talks about that too. We had same issues, but he talks about the kids that he's working with where parents don't really think about that, or a dad might not think that that's an issue. And they're like, well, why can't you just do it? Mm-hmm. And it's when you're outside looking in, it's just a little bit different. Why can't Ben Simmons just shoot the ball? And I mean, there was one clip where he literally looked like he had a wide open dunk and he passed it.
That's totally in his head.
Because he was afraid to get fouled. He thought there was no one near him, but he thought someone was behind him, that he was going to get fouled. And he didn't want to go shoot the foul shot because, everybody's looking at, when you're literally at the foul line, everyone's looking at you. There's no hiding. I mean,
yeah.
But then you go to the opposite spectrum. If you're watching the finals right now, Giannis and Antetokounmpo.
Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
Antetokounmpo. I used to know how to say his name pretty well.
I'm going to say Antetokounmpo, whatever that is. But
Giannis,
just Giannis, the Greek freak.
Yeah.
He is someone I look at and just, you don't really hear analysts like ranting and raving about someone's mental toughness when it comes to shooting free throws and stuff like that. That's how you know that Giannis is showing a different side, and he's showing the confidence, because the first two games he shot bad. I mean, he had a whole bunch of points in those first two games in the NBA Finals, but everyone's counting out his free throws, and the whole arena, 20,000 people are counting them down. And
dude, that is whole. I mean, as a fan, spectator from home laying in bed, I'm like, this is hilarious. The whole crowd.
Then he airballs it. This guy's a 2-time MVP, and he's standing however far, 15 feet away from the rim, and he's airballing the ball. Mm-hmm. And the ball literally is like a Fisher-Price ball in his hands.
Well, yeah, and his arms have to be, 5 feet long already? Yes. I mean, the dude is, yeah.
And the thing I admire about him is he's not shying away from the free throw line. I airballed it. Oh, well. Mm-hmm. He has perspective. He was talking about his son. He was talking about, his family in Greece. He used to, have to struggle to help his family put food on the table. So the perspective he has is just in another world. And he's just able to, hey, he even made a comment that if his son asked him to retire today, he would.
Really?
If his son said, Dad, I want to spend more time with you. When are you going to retire from basketball? He said, I would retire then.
All right. So he's got his priorities.
Yes.
As far as, in my opinion.
Well, now he's already made his money.
Yeah, true. Yeah, sure. I can retire. Yeah. No big deal.
But I admire that in Giannis. So because,
well, and right there. So you're talking about Giannis and you're talking about Ben Simmons, and I'm not going to sit here and say neither one of them, they both prepare.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For the games. So whenever it's like, how do you fix some of these problems when it's in the head? I mean, we're human beings. So what works for you is not going to work for me, vice versa. It's not going to work for my wife. It's not going to work for the guy listening to this show. I mean, you got to find what works for you. Mm-hmm. And that's where it really helps to have friends and good family members and people in your life that, you trust and who understand you and can help you figure out what works for you.
Support system.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yep.
And it sounds like Giannis has got a great one. I mean, his brother's on the team, and they always talk about his brother being the biggest hype man ever. So it's so nice to see them. Even Giannis, did you see his leg injury? No. He hyperextended the other way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was before the finals. They didn't think he was going to play. Now he's averaging 40 points.
I did. Yeah, I did. Yep.
So, I mean, it's a thing that people don't, it goes back to saying, hey, athletes are human too. I know they make a lot of money in the entertainment business, and you kind of don't look at them the same as the average Joe who, works at a company and works in an office. I think it's the same thing. They're held, obviously they make more money, but they're held to the same standard. Mm-hmm. The person in the office has to perform every day. The person at it's just the argument that I don't really want to have right now. But it's just like, Oh, I know. And with all that being said about Giannis, go Suns. I do want Chris Paul to get one. Chris Paul, and dude, the Suns coach, Monty Williams. Yeah. I've been hearing, the story, his story and everything about everything with his wife and the kids. And I don't know. Do you want to go into that at all, or? Sure. I mean, I haven't seen anything about it. So there was, I don't remember how many years ago it's been now, maybe 3. But there was a woman who was high on meth, I think it was. She, went head-on collision with Monty's wife, and I think he's got 5 kids, I believe, and I think 3 were in the car, maybe. Wow. And they all went to the hospital. That woman died, his wife died, but his children were okay. Oh, they survived. God. But his wife died. And then, so I watched a video of his eulogy at his wife's funeral, and I mean, this guy is the most, he is Christ-centered. Wow. Okay, I'm definitely going to watch this. Yeah, check it out, because, I mean, you can tell his faith is super strong. And then at the end, what he said was, we have 2 families we need to be praying for. Mine and the other woman who died. Yeah. So that family's going through a lot right now. Dang. I was like, that takes a pretty big person. Yeah. I mean, that reminds me of the person who I'm kind of structuring my speaking engagements of, is Chris Singleton. Now, I don't know if you remember him, but his mom was one of the 9 who was killed inside a church in South Carolina in Charleston. Oh, okay. Yeah, so he ended up playing professional baseball, but it didn't work out for him. But speaking professionally, he's doing really well. But, his thing that he's known for is love is greater than hate. So obviously the person that went in and killed those 9 people in the church was obviously displaying hate. But he feels, he's on a mission now to just get rid of the hate. He's trying to, I mean, if you're looking at like a politician, trying to keep, each state red or blue. He's trying to literally go and just give as many speeches as possible and erase the hate. So, and he was, the first thing he basically talked about was forgiving that guy. That's
exactly what Monty said too.
Yep. Yeah, immediately. It was like that night, I think he gave, he was on ESPN 60 Minutes. I feel like the next day he was talking about forgiving the person. I was like, man, that is, and obviously we know if you're Christ-centered, that's what you are called to do if you want to live life that way and follow Christ. But obviously here on earth, humans,
it's not easy.
No.
Oh, man.
I still remember someone stealing my pencil in middle school.
Still unforgiven?
No. I mean, I don't know. Probably not. No, I haven't forgiven them. You know who you are. No, I'm sure. But it's just, it's hard, man. And I'm not really good at holding grudges, but I love pencils. But but it's something that's pretty crazy. I'm gonna watch that, man. And I obviously last episode I shared my book. I want to kind of start talking about stuff that I am doing or currently watching or whatever. Yeah. So obviously I'm watching Yellowstone. Everybody's like, you gotta watch Yellowstone. So I'm watching Yellowstone, even though it interrupted Snowfall. I'm watching Snowfall right now. It's a story about how crack cocaine was, I guess, created in the 80s, and it's a great show, great series, and I have a special tie to that just because that drug trafficking was in my family, so I kind of can relate a little bit, and it's just a good show. But I'm making it a mission to read more books as well on top of that, and eventually I want to read. I've never read a fiction book.
What?
Well, I guess I've read Holes in first grade. Outside of Holes,
really,
everything's nonfiction, biographies, self-help books about Christ and Christianity. That's about it. So my plan, and Chris Lane, who was on the show, God bless him, he gives me more homework than my professor right now. But I have these line of books I have to read before I can go read my first novel. But eventually, that is my goal. Everyone is to read a novel and ride 100 miles, one of those two. So we got to get that going. But I do kind of want to, have a little technology portion before we end the show. So I'm a big fan of Unbox Therapy. That's a channel. And he has another channel called Lou Later, and he talks about stuff. He's big on the smart cars. Is that what they're? No, electric cars, smart cars. I'm not talking about the cars you can pick up and throw. I'm talking about electric cars like Tesla and stuff. He's big on that. But he recently had a guest on a show. So he's kind of backwards of what this show was going, where we're guest centered and now we're kind of going and just kind of, having a chill atmosphere. He kind of was doing the chill atmosphere, talking about, topics of tech and stuff like that. And then he had guests on. People started panicking. But he had a guy named Peter McKinnon on. Peter McKinnon's specialty, he is one of the fastest growing channels on YouTube back, I think, in 2017. I think he had 1 million subscribers in less than a year, starting from 0.
Oh, that's
lofty goals for the for the dogs.
I feel ashamed.
But he literally tells people, gives them tips on camera hacks and editing videos, but he also brings his personality into it. So, but they were talking about YouTube and content consumption, and one of the points I just wanted to kind of leave as a tidbit for people is they talked about TikTok and how content now is changing in all the platforms. YouTube even has shorts, IG Reels, and TikTok. It's just, most of them I feel like are 5 to 10 second videos and you just flip through. Now, his real name isn't Lou, but that's what he goes by, his alias. He brought up a good point, and he said, if someone if you're sitting there for an hour and you watch TikTok and you just go through all of them, and then I go, hey, Josh, what were you just watching? What is your summary that you give I mean, let's be honest. Are you really going to remember? You might remember a couple of funny things that you saw, like, oh, there was this baby that fell off the couch or something. But for them,
so I can't give you my perspective. I don't do TikTok. Now, we did start one for the Browns podcast.
Yeah, I like it. I saw it.
And I post on there. But as far as like scrolling through and actually, I don't watch TikTok videos.
What about now? You're not on Instagram, are you? As much?
No. Now my wife though, she can lose hours doing it.
Yeah, and I think it all started with stories. I'm hearing now that a lot of people, they don't even go to the feed. They just go to the stories and just tap the screen, tap the screen, tap the screen. That's another form of that. So I'm going to be focusing on doing that type of content since that seems, those apps, they're pushing that. They want to do that. The YouTube Shorts, the IG Reels. So I'm going to try to do that. And I was obsessed with making these nice, polished YouTube videos or any type of video. I want to make it look all professional. But they were talking, and I don't know if that's the move now. The raw video with your phone is kind of taking off. You know, no one's going on TikTok and making this professional video just because, and they were talking about it might just because it doesn't look like an ad. It looks like you're there with them. Mm-hmm. So,
big thing is, I say even before video quality is audio quality.
Yeah.
You can't hear what's going on in the video. It doesn't really matter.
True.
You know, and I totally forget what else I was going to say.
Audio, yes.
I had another point. Yes. I really did.
Well, we're going to compound on top of the audio.
I was going to say you have to have good audio, and seriously, you have to have good personality because, you know, I've listened to a couple of podcasts where I'm like, oh, this looks like a good topic or whatever. So I'll listen to a little bit. I'm like, man, these guys are freaking stale. Like, just come on, like liven it up a little bit. So, I mean, it is about the personality and what you bring to the show.
Yeah.
The content. Yeah.
True. And I was going to say, adding on to what you were talking about is, you know, I have a friend who is deaf that is from Canada, and I kind of want to have him on the show here soon. I'm going to schedule him, but he asked me, I made a video and Instagram just puts captions, you know, and he said, how did you do the captions? And that hit me like, you know, for YouTube, I feel like maybe investing in a software that does captions for you. I know we have them on Facebook and stuff, just does it for you for free. They're not the greatest, but they work. So, you know, that's another thing we got to think about. But I'm actually, this was really fun. I don't know how much fun you had. Did I let you talk enough?
Did I talk too much?
No, I just felt like, you know, this was what I envisioned when I heard of a podcast. Mm-hmm. This is what I envisioned. So,
yeah. And it's trying to schedule a guest every single week can get a little bit cumbersome.
I got good at it though.
You did. And you were scheduling out pretty far. I mean, you still are.
Yeah. Cause I have people in August right now. I'm just trying to nail them down. Mm-hmm. Not literally, but on my calendar.
Yeah, but you know, not trying to inflate your head any more than it already is, I'm sure. But you know,
like my wife.
Yeah, you do a good job. Just yourself as a podcast host, just because you're an entertaining guy.
Well, thank you, John.
You're fun to listen to, Percy.
Well, let's hope everybody feels the same way.
I guess we're gonna find.
Yeah, I guess we are. But I mean, this was fun. I mean, I didn't anticipate going this long, but whatever. But yeah, I do plan on, you know, kind of maybe doing once in a while, maybe even every other. I don't know how I'm going to do it. We're just going to go, you know, and whatever we do. Hopefully like it. But I kind of do want to get more engagement going on, and I need to find out. Obviously, I want my audience to come to YouTube. So I've got 3,000 followers on Twitter, you know, whatever, 5,000 on Facebook, but I want to figure out a way to bring them here the best way. And I think you guys do a great job on dogs, and you guys have great engagement, and you guys do a great job. I just feel like I got so much going on. I'm just like, okay, there's the video. Sweet. See you guys next week. And, you know, obviously we joked about my clips that I made, but I did make clips. And even if they're not, you know, doing great view wise, I'm not right now in this mode. I'm not really in. I mean, it'd be great to have a lot of views and a lot of subscribers, but I'm enjoying the content thing right now. and I'm not tailoring my content to what I think will get views. But eventually I feel like I need to just put some, what's that word I'm looking for? I need to put I need to supplement some content in there that will get views. So we'll see what happens, but I'm enjoying this, hoping you guys are. And you know what I did forget?
What?
I think we're just going to have to make me do a recording where we just put it in there where I say,
like, subscribe.
You knew it.
Share.
You knew it. I need to learn from Blake. Yeah. But I obviously I just said that I don't care about views and subscriptions, but that's like guys saying they don't care if they're not dating anyone. Like obviously you care, but that's not my I'm working on myself. That my central focus is just making good content that I enjoy making and I have fun doing, because I don't want to be miserable. So, and I'm not at that stage. I'm not miserable, but I enjoy doing this. But I don't want to fall down the path where I'm looking at all the analytics and just all the information of, this video is doing this, and that's what the best. I mean, depends what you call the best, but the best YouTubers, they do that. They see what's trending, they see what content is getting the most views, and they make those videos. For me, just like the dogs, you guys weren't like hunting views. You guys just are fans. What's your tagline?
For fans by fans.
For fans by fans. Uh-huh. And it's just...
Well, okay, so for instance, I noticed over the last, 2 months, we were getting a lot of comments on our YouTube videos about Malik McDowell, defensive tackle for the Browns, and we hadn't talked about him because honestly, we didn't really look too much into him. I don't think he's really played at all in the NFL. He's been in jail. Like, he just second round pick, but he just hasn't been able to be on the field. And now he's on the Browns, current roster to go into training camp. And people are like, well, let's talk about him. So we did. Well, put out a video today about him, and so far so good.
I think that's a little bit different. I think that's smart.
Right.
And it's within your topic. And it's not like you're changing the whole style of your content, the whole topics and everything. It's within your realm of what you're talking about. And I think that's just being smart. People, when they are asking to hear about something, you're going to do it. Now, if someone comes in my comments and say, hey, we would love for you to talk, because I'm the tech guy. A lot of people understand that. I'm even getting that now in the Rotary meetings I'm at. They're like, oh, yeah, you're the tech guy. So if I need this done, now what do I do? And I get people calling, and I don't mind. I like helping people, but I want to, I guess, be a source that can help, I guess, through this too. So I want to talk about tech a little bit. I don't want to get into the YouTube tips, area, but, I just want to talk about tech that I like. I'm obsessed with phones, iPads, all that stuff, computers. But, I feel like I can't talk too much about that stuff on 99 miles per hour because it just doesn't make sense. But the future is, I'm excited about it, and I appreciate you for. Oh, there we go. I appreciate y'all.
There it is, the tagline.
I appreciate you for just helping me with these episodes and making it easier for me. And I do want to mention, if you guys ever want, because I put in the comments, or I put in the description all the gear we use. And if you click on that, you literally can go buy it, or just look at other stuff that's similar to it and purchase it. And all those purchases kind of help. Well, they don't they do help me out. I probably get like a cent from it, but it helps out this channel if you use my affiliate links from Amazon to make purchases of the gear we use or whatever you do on Amazon. Or if you guys really care about nonprofits, you'll go to the smile setting on your Amazon app or on the computer, and you'll put in the Rainbow Connection, the Tuscarawas Society for Children and Adults, as your, because some of your purchase will go to the Rainbow Connection or other nonprofits around the world that you want to support. I think it literally takes no effort, and it helps somebody out. It's not going to cost you more to do. So I think it's important that we do that. By the way, like and subscribe. But no, guys, I appreciate you guys hanging out with us, and hopefully you guys enjoy this different episode. And I think I touched everything. I mean, touched on everything in my agenda.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Hand check.
But no, I appreciate you, Josh, and I appreciate everybody listening and watching. And I guess we'll do this again next Tuesday. Peace.
I got a crib by the water. Say me casa su casa. It feels like Casablanca. Shawty, you my little mama. I got a crib by the water. Say me casa su casa. It feels like Casablanca. Shawty, you my little